Spencer Pratt just proposed something so unhinged, even his own supporters are speechless, which that's one silver lining. His fans are silent for once after this disturbing new plan dropped because it is an absolute bombshell and it's not getting any coverage. So CNN's Elex Michaelson asked Spencer Pratt one question, and what followed was a 17-minute rant. And somewhere inside of all that, he got lost and found some crazy ideas along the way and proposed a solution to the housing crisis that has a very specific American precedent, one that most people alive today learned about in a history class and assumed was over. What he is proposing is that poor people and people without homes should have to earn their shelter with work on land outside of a city that he cannot name, run by people he cannot identify, and he's calling it healing and an opportunity. He seemed pretty damn pleased with himself, and I think we're dancing around what this actually is, and I'm not one for glazing over this type of shit.
I'm not a politician. I don't want to be a politician.
We're gonna get right into it, and real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. Willa Paritra is at my feet with a ball. And we run this entire operation network free and independent every single day out of pure principle and an absolute refusal to ever let Katie Miller catch up. Katie Miller is the wife of Stephen Little Bitch Miller. She's the woman who married that pale white nationalist behind all of the ICE and immigration terror on purpose. And every sub, every follow, every comment, 6 words or more, every hype, every follow and 5-star rating across wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, etc. We see it all. And we've been told it creates a very strong protective barrier between you and Stephen Miller, who could be nesting in a dark space in your home, in your car at any point and just emerging and his eyes blinking in the night. So just be careful, subscribe, stay safe out there. Let's work towards this timeline where that man is in a windowless cage. So to really set the tone for this unhinged Spencer Pratt soup, if you will, Elex asked him what politician inspires him. And Spencer, without hesitation, with the full confidence of somebody who has never had to think about a politician in his life before, said this.
Who is your political role model?
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I mean, that's what. Yeah,
he was a politician. He had to, he had to go in and.
Are there any
speak.
Modern politicians that you're especially studying or drawn to?
No, I'm not a politician. I don't want to be a politician. I want to be a fighter for the people.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Elex keeps it together in a way that is so impressive because I was losing my shit on the couch when I was watching this. And he so artfully presses him. Okay, but like an actual politician, because you know with Spencer, he was in his head trying to think, can I actually name one? And then he goes on to say,
that Obama. I'm most similar to Obama.
Okay.
I just needed you to know that before we continue on with this, that's where we're at.
And again,
so does that mean that you're sending the LAPD into encampments, or what does that look like?
That's not in there. There's no more encampments. They've taken over the streets.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure the LAPD can do their job. Right now, they can't enforce any laws.
If that happens, then you send, is it an LAPD officer that goes and arrests them?
Yes. And in jail, maybe you end up getting sober and you have a chance to come back into society. But if you come out and you do that again, you go back to jail.
So Spencer Pratt, his whole argument right here, if we can extract some stuff from it, is that poverty, the housing market, 40 years of gutted mental health infrastructure going back to the Reagan era, none of that is the problem. We are simply, in Spencer's words, not arresting enough people. Law and order applied to a public health and humanitarian crisis. If Spencer ever read a history book, he would know that that has never worked. But here we are, suggesting more cops. The housing crisis is a humanitarian crisis. It is not a crime problem. It's what happens when housing costs spiral, mental health systems collapse, and there's no net underneath people when they fall. There's a reason homelessness jumped up exponentially during COVID. People were losing their jobs and they were sleeping in their cars. Sure, the most visible unhoused people we likely interact with in our day-to-day as people who don't work in this space are the people experiencing mental health crises.
You know who also I'm going to bring in? The CDC, because there's medieval diseases in these encampments.
And those people, call me crazy, still deserve to live a dignified life. They still deserve care. They don't deserve to die because of their circumstances. But no housing for them. It's a trap.
And we're going to go around. We're going to warn everybody, hey, you got 3 more weeks of this. Like, clock's ticking. Just keep telling everyone. So the people that are aware, they're like, oh, wow, there's a new mayor in town. They may start leaving. And then when the 3 weeks, or maybe we'll even do 2 weeks, maybe people will want it faster. And then once we start enforcing the laws, boom, streets will be back.
So when somebody says the answer is more cops and more arrests, what they're really saying is, let's spend more money making this problem permanent. Because that's what criminalization does. It doesn't reduce homelessness. The data will tell you that. It just adds a record. It kills whatever stability that person had and cycles them right back out with even more trauma, worse than before. And here's the thing, even so you don't care about the humanitarian aspect of this, and you, in your heart, believe that these people deserve the circumstances that they're in. Let's talk about the fiscal responsibility and the fiscal impact here. Fiscal conservatives, you should care about this. Keeping somebody chronically unhoused, homeless, costs the city up to $50,000 a year. In emergency rooms, in jail stays, police calls. Housing costs half of that. And get this, prevention costs less than both. But this was never about compassion versus responsibility or versus actually solving this. Prevention is the responsible choice. The tough on crime approach to homelessness, it's not tough. It's expensive and it doesn't work. We have 50 plus years of data proving that. But Spencer won't tell you any of that because he's too busy filming folks, vulnerable people in crisis.
What these people forget is in these encampments, it's illegal to be naked in front of kids. It's illegal to be pleasuring yourself in front of kids. It's illegal to be shooting up in front of kids.
Spencer brings up homeless people doing 3 times in 5 to 10 minutes. What's the fixation? This tracks because Spencer Pratt, on the record, spread a rumor about Lauren Conrad and how she had a shrunk fruit. He also took private photos of Mary-Kate Olsen at a party and sold them for $50,000 and described this lack of objection as consent. Mary-Kate Olsen was a child at this time, and he was taking photos of this child without their consent to objectify them and make himself $1. And then the trifecta to complete this all is he also shopped around a tape of him and his wife engaged in a during their separation against her will. He wanted to take footage that they had shared intimately and distribute that to humiliate his wife. He wanted to bring her so much shame and humiliation and distribute nude video of her and shopped that around. Yeah, Spencer Pratt saying, oh, I can't post these things. Why did you want to take them? Clearly, what this man has demonstrated repeatedly across the decades that he's been on my radar is a very strong comfort with non-consensual distribution of intimate images or video, real ones, fabricated ones, and ones involving a girl who is a teenager on television.
If you're pleasuring yourself in front of kids, which all day long, parents are messaging me the craziest videos and photos that I can't post because my accounts will get deleted.
Now he's telling us he has video of vulnerable people that he can't post. I need you to hold on to that because a lot of people are treating this campaign as a joke because we've got a jokester in the running. But prediction markets are not known for sentimentality. They go where they see the money going. And right now, across prediction markets like Polymarket, Spencer Pratt is sitting at 61% to finish first round and second place in the LA mayoral. Nithya Raman is at 18%. Karen Bass at 15%. The betting markets are not laughing. And I think it's worth remembering that and how people are really framing this up in their minds before you watch what comes next. And I really need you to brace for this part because this is a journey.
Your plan is to require homeless people to go to a facility outside the city of Los Angeles, potentially in the desert.
I didn't say desert. I said beautiful nature. The desert's hot. That sounds brutal. I was thinking more like,
So where?
I'm going to have to meet with the federal government when I'm mayor and look at the most beautiful property we can get and get that. But it's going to be somewhere where people will go and they go, thank God for Spencer. This is the greatest thing in the United States of America.
What's happening here is Spencer Pratt is saying it's probably going to be outside the city because we need a very large piece of dirt. And then when pushed on where he said, I didn't say desert, I said beautiful nature, beautiful nature. This is not a new idea. It's the forced removal of people deemed undesirable from a city, relocated somewhere remote, and they rebrand it as a healing opportunity. This has a history in our country, and we should be really precise about this. Indigenous communities were removed from their land and placed on reservations under the exact same framework. Japanese Americans were sent to camps in remote deserts during World War II, which was also framed at the time as a safety measure. Black neighborhoods across this country were demolished wholesale under urban renewal and slum clearances in the 50s and 60s. Communities that had existed for generations, gone. People scattered with nowhere to go because someone decided the land was better used for something else. For some people that were better than who was occupying it at that time. We've seen it in LA in recent times with the SoFi Stadium and the displacement of thousands of Black and brown communities who have called South Central home for generations, just pushed out so we can have the NFL and these major conglomerates make a buck. It has never, ever been about solving the problem with any of these examples. It has always been about moving it somewhere where the people making the decisions about it don't have to see them. And the people being moved are never the ones who get to vote in this. One of the things that is most widely misunderstood about the housing and homelessness crisis in Los Angeles is that 1/3 of these people experiencing homelessness are under the age of 18. They're children. More than 2/3 of them have experienced domestic violence. They are either escaping or surviving by being removed from DV. The system has failed them. And then we have Spencer saying it's going to be somewhere where people go and they say, thank God for Spencer. This is the greatest thing in the United States. So his metric for success as a marketer, metrics, is he doesn't have any mention of recovery rates, housing stability, just thank God for Spencer. Ego. That's what he wants as his metric. And listen, Spencer Pratt and I don't have a lot in fucking common, but we're both natural blondes and we have both experienced the total loss of our homes to an environmental disaster. And I think about that sometimes because losing everything overnight sucks. Going through that, which is no fault of your own, can go two ways. Sometimes it grows your empathy and sometimes it does not. So what we're seeing here and what gets lost in all of this with Spencer's sociopathic meltdown is that once somebody loses housing, the cascading effects on mental health, on employment, on family stability are brutal and compounding. The most cost-effective intervention is keeping people housed to begin with. Pulling people out once they are in it is hard. We can get a kick out of Spencer and his kookiness, but it's not cute to support this man. And I need you guys to have conversations with the people in your life who are not looking into it this deeply and who think it's fun and playful and they're angry about the circumstances. Spencer is dangerous. He is literally on this 17-minute rant. And I watched this whole thing and I watched him talk about unhoused people. And I think we here in California and in particular in LA, we have more people living without housing than in the entire state of Florida. And he's talking about doing all of that and putting them in these internment camps to do indentured servitude in the wilderness and trying to sell it as like a campy thing.
We're going to teach them how to do brush clearance, whether we're going to teach them how to clean trash professionally. If they want to come back to the city, we have a job for them.
It's indentured servitude. It is. These ideas are not fringe and they're gaining ground. And the people who will pay the price for them the most are the people most vulnerable. So can we do a little bit better for them, please? Again, I'm Lauren Paritra. I am going to be digging in on all the elections now through June 2nd. So if you want to hear about the characters and the people and the chaos in California right now, tap in. Let me know in the comments what you want to know more of. We do this every day for you. I'm going to go let Willa outside and we'll be back with more.